You're listening to the Bromsgrove Standard Podcast because you have impeccable taste.
Very warm welcome to this week's Bromsgrove and Droitwich Standard Podcast with me, Tristan Harris. Now it's here again. I was just saying to Jules Evans, she's here from the Royal British Legion. It comes around so quick, doesn't it?
Time flies by. I wonder if it's something to do with age.
I don't know. It does. They do say that. They say like years pass like every 6 months when you get past a certain age, which would make sense.
It feels like that for me. Maybe we cram too much into our lives,
We cram too much in. We don't have enough me time. But this week and Bromsgrove, what can we say about Bromsgrove and Droitwich as well? Obviously, you're here to talk about Bromsgrove, but we got Droitwich as well, and all the little villages we'll mention. What the turnout is just. Because you would think, and people do say, oh, I wonder if it's going to dwindle as the veterans get older and pass away and stuff. But in Bromsgrove, it seems to be not only thriving, but increasing every year.
We have a great event on Remembrance Sunday, and I'm thrilled to be part of it. And people could just keep coming, people to watch, people to be in the parade. We've had 11 emails this week of people asking, oh, can we have a poppy wreath, please? Where do we pick it up from? It's brilliant, absolutely fantastic. And these are young organisations, Scouts, Boys Brigade. There is a new troop of Girls Brigade in Bromsgrove. And the thing that is foremost on their mind is they want a poppy wreath. That's fantastic news for us.
The Girls Brigade, I hadn't heard of that myself, and I'm the editor of the local paper, so they'll be there this year, because there's always the Boys Brigade, isn't there, and all the Scouts and stuff, and it's all really good. Because I spoke to Patrick earlier. God, I've been away. When you've been away, it's just like everything stops. You go. I spoke to Patrick a couple of weeks ago, and he was saying that the Deputy Lord Lieutenant was saying that she couldn't believe that she met the range of ages. I think it was something like 6 months or 3 months year old baby at the parade and a 105-year-old veteran. So that is that's the variety of people who are there. And so we've got the normal parade. So it's muster, let me get the times right. Is it about 10:15 on Sunday?
10:15, 10:30.
Yeah.
We'll start lining you up, ready to march off at 10:45.
And I'm going to touch wood here because it is normally sunny, isn't it?
I've checked the weather. I thought you might have this on your mind.
Yeah.
It's a dry day. It's going to rain on Saturday and it's going to be dry all day.
It'll probably
Sunday.
rain all day Saturday, rain all day Monday, but for that day, the sun always comes out.
For one day only.
One day only. And yeah, I'll hopefully be doing it Facebook Live as well, which gets a good response.
It does. Thank you for that.
But it's just so many people just walking backwards. It's a new talent I've developed over the years. And then, so the service will take place around the War Monument. I have to think about that because Patrick always tells me off calling it a memorial because there's no names on it. A War Monument at Crown Close, beautiful stone monument, still in beautiful condition.
It is.
And last year, what struck me about last year, because obviously we had the centenary of the end of the First World War last year.
Yeah.
This year it's the 75th anniversary of D-Day. But last year I remember looking behind and the crowds went all the way back as far as the bus station. I could not believe I'd never seen that many. So it was a bumper crowd last year, so you're hoping for similar this year?
We certainly are, and thankfully for us, the council have agreed to close the road again. So there's no cars travelling past, no danger of accidents or anything, so we're thrilled and thank Bromsgrove District Council very much for that.
Because there's nothing worse than having the service drowned out with traffic noise when all these people have made the effort to come.
That's absolutely right. I know a couple of years ago, a lovely truck driver just went past very, very slowly to slow all the cars down, and then he turned his truck round and came back driving very, very slowly again.
Yeah.
But thankfully, we've got a road closure again. And I think the council in themselves realise that they have to keep people safe.
Yeah, definitely. So we've got the Act of Remembrance, we've got the service, the Act of Remembrance, and then obviously there's the short service up at the church, isn't there, for the Boer War, and what was the other one? Is it the First World? It might be the First World War. It's in our website story, so check that. And then on the evening, we got a poppy concert, because last year, I tell you, one of my highlights of the year, if not the highlight of the year last year, it was hairs on the back of your neck stuff last year, wasn't it?
Well, we like to think so, and considering that everyone was local that was on that stage, that's what we're going for again this year. But last year, 100 years, we could drag out all the 100-year-old songs, Long Way to Tipperary, and the support from people. There wasn't a dry eye in the house, I don't think, and there wasn't a spare seat, which was fantastic.
And there was the drum service as well.
Drumhead ceremony that they have at the Royal Albert Hall.
Yeah.
With the raising of the standards and the lowering and the 2-minute silence when we dropped 60,000
and the poppies. I was going to say the
leaves.
poppies, to see that, the 60,000 paper poppies falling, and it just seemed endless, and it was just crazy, wasn't it? And what there was significance, wasn't there, about this? Was there significance about the 60,000?
No,
or was it just that you wanted lots of poppies?
I wanted lots of poppies.
I thought the number was like significant.
No, there were 60,000 paper poppy leaves, but then I'd bought some silk ones. And they dropped at different times. However, the clear-up rate on silk poppy leaves is a lot longer than paper poppy leaves.
Right.
I'm still getting complaints from Artrix. Bless them, every time they put a machine on upstairs. Oh, there's another couple of thousand poppy leaves coming down. I'm so sorry.
That's good. So when it's Christmas time, you get a snow and poppy mix.
You definitely do.
That's all good, isn't it? I remember there was a real ale last year, wasn't there, as well? Didn't you get some special remembrance?
Yeah,
ale
from Woodcote Manor Brewery.
Yeah, I remember enjoying that on when I got back after. Yeah, because it was a manic day. There was the beacon lighting as well that I managed to fit in. I couldn't do Bromsgrove School as well. It was just too much.
Yeah.
I know Jo Slade managed it.
She did, but she's a superstar.
Missed the first half of the thingy concert. And my biggest regret of last year, and I'm so glad it was rectified in the end, was I had a new phone and I tried to film Catherine Tabberner, who ended up breaking the decibel record at Artrix with her version of Rule Britannia. It's the most stunning. It's on, I think it'll be on our Remembrance story from last year. We might have to repost that, actually. But her stunning performance of Rule Britannia, it was just amazing. It's the best thing I've ever seen musically. And when I got out, because I'd done it Facebook Live, I realised my finger was over the microphone. Because I didn't know I didn't realise where the microphone was. I mean, here's my phone. You can't see, but the microphone is at the top of the. I mean, that's a stupid place for a phone.
It is, isn't it?
Everything else I love about the phone, but that is ridiculous. Luckily, her husband had done it as well.
He had.
So we nicked the copy of that, and it is stunning. Catherine Tabberner, Rule Britannia, put it in. And have a watch of that. It's the most stunning thing you'll ever see. And so this year,
hang on, you see, because this year she's singing it again.
Is she? Surely she can't break the record twice.
I'm hoping so. So maybe if you keep your finger off the microphone this time,
yeah, I will.
You might get it.
Well, I know where it is now. I know where
Right.
it is. The worst thing is with the microphone is that wouldn't have been the best one to do that for. The best one to do that for would have been the Christmas light switch on, because I don't know if you know this about Facebook, but if you have professional music come on your finger, that they start going, oh, we're withdrawing that video because you haven't got the rights to play Slade on your not that you're playing like 15 seconds of it, so I think it's quite petty really, but you see, that would have been all right. I wouldn't have minded that. In fact, I might do that this year as soon as Slade comes on, because nobody's like listening to the music for the Christmas lights, which I might just mute it like that. That's good. But Catherine Tabberner, she's worth going just to see her. But you've got loads more on as well.
We definitely have.
The Town Crier, is he making an appearance again?
Yes,
Of
definitely.
course he is.
He's our compere for the evening as well. I've had way too many meetings in the pub with him. It's now just an excuse.
Yeah.
We plan an event just so that we can have meetings in the pub.
Yeah, and you've got to plan them regularly, otherwise, obviously, it could just spiral out of control.
Yeah. Well, the big deal this time as well, of course, we are celebrating like it's 1944.
Yeah.
So we have a D-Day theme. So Glen Miller, we've got dancers, we've got so much else going on. We've just brought it forward 45 years, 20 years. And we're going to have some fun. Quite sombre to begin with. Our very own, we're so proud to have her from Withall, Betty Webb.
Oh, the
was a code breaker.
cracker.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So we've recorded her in advance. And she was at Bletchley Park during the war. She worked with Alan Turing. Incredibly brilliant lady. She was taken to America by Eisenhower to carry on breaking codes. And we've interviewed her. So rather than put her on the stage and put all the lights on her, we've videoed her in the comfort of her own home. And we've got 20 minutes where we'll be enthralled by the work that she did. And she'll give us a run-through of her time at Bletchley. She's also got books. So we're going to put her in the foyer. She can sign her books. If you've got a copy already, she'll sign it. And she's bringing some of her memorabilia. This lady was this is the reason. She's the reason we won the war.
Well, this is it, isn't it? They said without those code crackers and without those intercepted messages, we obviously wouldn't have known what the opposition.
And she's
were doing.
96, and she's coming on the evening, so that you get to meet her.
Yeah. All good. So you got Betty Webb, and she lives in Withall, I think, doesn't she?
Yeah.
So because it's good for us because we can put it Reddish and Bromsgrove pages. She gets more coverage as well. So that's an amazing story. Will you be posting the video after as well, like on your social media and stuff? Because obviously, if there's people who can't come to the concert, they'd probably still like to see that. Yeah. I mean, it all enthralls me. All this. I mean, this and the Dam Busters and stuff like that. It's just incredible. How did that? I mean, people just. I mean, you talk about some people these days who go the extra mile. They went the extra 100 miles, didn't they?
All their lives were put on hold to do this. And they couldn't tell people. They were signed up for 30 years to not tell the secrets. And afterwards, even after the 30 years, Betty said she still didn't know what she could say. And plus, she said, well, nobody's really interested, are they? And
that's the other thing, the modesty as well about everybody.
Yeah. So modest.
I was just doing my job kind of thing.
Yeah, it was what I was there to do. But she's our guest of honour, so she'll be absolutely treated like a queen. And we're really, really pleased to have her joining us on Sunday.
That's amazing. And this is why it's so important that we've got to keep it going. I mean, we've got Remembrance Sunday. I haven't checked with Patrick. Is there anything, there's something going on for Armistice Day on Monday as well?
Yes, we'll be at the Odd Fellows.
Odd Fellows
muster
Memorial.
about 11:15, and we'll have 2 minutes silence at 11 o'clock.
Excellent. Try and get to that as well. That's all good. So, are there tickets left for Sunday?
Yes, there are. They are £12 each, available from the Artrix box office.
And the profits go to the RBL?
They
Good
do.
cause.
It would be fantastic to fill the place up again. There is a poppy drop and lots of singing, but we've got Mr. Churchill will be there with some famous speeches. We're going to tell the journey of D-Day, really. So from 2 days before, because it was due to happen 2 days before and the weather was bad. So they didn't leave. But King George speech, a journey. Everybody's local again. Everybody's given their time and energy for free. And we can't believe how lucky we are to have such talented people in our area.
It's brilliant, isn't it?
Yeah.
It's just absolutely. So we've got that. And if they can get in touch with, it's artrix.co.uk, 01527 577 330. There you go. I know Artrix's number and Avon Cross. I know all these numbers off by heart. And then we'd love to see as many people as possible, wouldn't we? We
certainly would. It's going to be a nice evening. You have to watch out. I don't know if anybody remembers Dad's Army. Walker was a bit of a dodgy type. Just watch out for a couple of walkers that might be going around. A couple of spivs, just trying to sell you stockings. Raffle tickets, that's always useful. Just watch out for them. They're a bit dodgy.
This is the problem. I always argue this. I don't know if you've heard me tell this story before. But a lot of theatre groups and people putting on shows always forget the front of house. Do you know what I mean? They forget that bit of because my view is your theatre experience shouldn't start in the auditorium. Your theatre experience should start when you walk through the door.
Yeah.
All right. Now, North Bromsgrove High School, a few years ago, my favourite front of house experience, they were doing Sweeney Todd. And at half-time, during the interval, they were bringing round pork pies they were selling. And I just thought that was genius, do you know what I mean? And you just see so much good front of house and it often gets overlooked. But we got the poppy. So the poppy comes at what time does it start?
7:30.
7:30. That's
free
cool.
Parking in the car park after 7.
After 7, yeah.
Yes.
So doing that, we're still fighting for that. We will get our way. I'm convinced. And yeah. And hopefully we'll see as many people as possible. We're going to get the obviously the reminder of all the services and stuff, because we've got services in Bromsgrove, we've got Cats Hill, we've got Rubery as well. Very busy day. I'll be there typing away before I come to the concert. And Droitwich as well. So we'll have all those details online and in the paper on Friday. So no excuse really. We want to see as many people as possible. All right. Let's have a look at some other stories now. The owner of the Churchill garage in Hanbury, Churchill 4x4, has been left counting the cost following a series of thefts. We've been having a lot of catalytic converter thefts, which is just ridiculous, isn't it? And I mean, the police do tell me in Droitwich that they can tell the price of metal by the number of lead thefts or catalytic converter thefts. And it's almost like the thieves kind of watch the market like some kind of stock exchange. It's really weird.
It's a shame they can't put those brains to better use.
Exactly. I mean, this is the point, isn't it? I mean, these people, to get into a garage to angle grind off a catalytic converter actually takes quite skill. Do you know I once, digressing now, I once had it was the most shocking thing ever. I had my electric meter stolen, right?
Wow.
Sorry, not my electric meter, my gas meter, which was even more dangerous.
Yeah.
I got up one Sunday morning to make a bacon sandwich. I turned the hob on and there was no gas. And then the boiler was flashing up lights I'd never seen before, and I was thinking, this is weird. And I just couldn't work out. So I went to check the meter, see if it was going round, and there was no meter. And somebody thankfully they turned off the gas, so they knew what they were doing.
Yeah, got some
because
brains.
if they hadn't have turned off the gas, well, that doesn't bear thinking about, does it? But that's what I'm saying. So these people, apparently it's quite common because if people have got payment meters where you have to pay as you go, if they take off their meter and put yours on, they can obviously bypass it because I pay mine like direct debit or whatever.
Wow.
So, yeah. So, like you say, they've got brains to do that. So they should be putting them to better use.
You'd like to think so, wouldn't you?
You would do in this day and age. But, yes, so they had some catalytic converters stolen. Then they had a couple of Range Rovers stolen. They had a fully restored Austin Maestro stolen as well.
That's worth a lot of money, though.
Yeah, it is. It is worth a lot of money, but it's just... they've had all these taken, but then it came to a head on Sunday morning when there was an arson attack, and they've lost 3 Range Rovers now as well. And what they're saying is they could claim on their insurance, but then A, the premiums are going to go up, and B, it will get to a point where they'll be labelled uninsurable, and then where do they go?
And they've ruined a business, haven't they?
Business as well. These are small businesses. The owner, Jonathan Churchill, said, luckily no one was injured. It was only down to the fact it had been a wet weekend that the fire hadn't spread. As a small family business, we're left with substantial costs to repair the damage to vehicles and are unable to continually claim for fear of sky-high premiums and the potential scenario of being uninsurable. He's also had a go at the police. Not the police officers, they've been out to see them, but he's had to go at the police about the funding for rural crime because he says it needs improving. The police have been out, they're going to work with him. They've already asked him after the previous incidents, they've asked him to update his security. He's done that, and they're now working with him again to see if anything else can be done. But there's only so much you can do if they want them. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's not just the brains, is it? It's the tenacity, isn't it, to do that. So if anyone's got any information on that, call police on 101 or Crime Stoppers on 0800 555 111. Controversial plan to build 505 new homes near Whitford were put on hold as Bromsgrove District Council's planning meeting on Thursday. 3-hour meeting. Thankfully, I was in Pontins and Harry had to do that one. But
Poor Harry.
Yeah, poor old Harry. There were so many people there that they screened it on the monitor in another room as well. Whitford Vale Voice obviously have welcomed it, but there's now a massive petition to try and get a western bypass, which Jules, you'll know, being a long-term Bromsgrove resident, people have been calling for 50 years or so.
Easily that long. But where's it going to go?
Well, I think the idea would be for the developers to rein back on their houses, the number of houses that they want to build, and then put the relief road, incorporate the relief road. So
if you live in those houses, you've got a relief road on one side of you and the M5 on the other.
There is that as well.
You would really want to buy a house there, wouldn't you?
There is that. But then you wouldn't want to buy a house where you can't get off your driveway, would you?
No. I think the easiest thing, and why they haven't done it a long time ago, is to put an island at the one end of Whitford Road where it meets Kidderminster Road. How can you not do that? And then the other end at Fox Lane, how can that not have happened as well? That 2 little islands, if they can put one in Aston Fields by the train station, and people do adhere to them and do follow them, it would cut down so much trouble. But someone told me that the Fox Lane, where it meets Worcester Road, is the most highly intense area for carbon monoxide, car congestion. Sorry, what comes out of cars. That is the biggest place in all of Redditch, Bromsgrove and Droitwich. That's the most... When they put reading meters in there, that's the worst place.
Oh my God! As a cyclist, that horrifies me because
Yeah.
if you were cycling through there, I mean, it's bad enough for me in the mornings. I'm on the Bristol Road sometimes, and I can feel the back of my throat. It's awful. But you should work in highways as well, because some of the things that highways suggest really worry me. Like I've sat at a council meeting before where I think it was Whitford Road. They were going to block it off to make it like a cul-de-sac, so you can't go in. You can go in to a certain extent that way and a certain extent that way. And then their solution was to run the traffic through the estate to slow it down as a traffic calming measure. And you're thinking, there's families living in there.
Yeah.
People are going to be getting up for school runs and coming home from school and stuff. And it's just a ridiculous thing. So it's got to be sorted one way or the other. People are calling for Relief Road, though. So there's a petition there if you want to sign it. Cool.
Yes, as a member of the campaign for Real Ale, we were fighting against the Greyhound being
Greyhound
demolished.
as well.
But of course now it's been subject to an arson attack and looks so desperately sad there. It's all set really, isn't it? They're not going to be able to bring that one back.
Well, it's the same with the North Worcestershire Golf Club as well.
Yeah.
And where else was it? There's been so many buildings that fall victim to arson attacks when they're not properly secured.
Yes. It's amazing that they were properly secured for 10 years and then all of a sudden they're not. When
and
the
the
developers...
Manchester Inn as well.
Oh, yes.
That was a beautiful pub, wasn't it?
Yeah, it was.
Too many pubs going. It was an election last week, by-election. Conservative candidate Kyle Daisley claimed the vacant Bromsgrove South seat, Worcester County Council. It was an abysmal by-election for Labour. He finished on 769, twice as many votes as Brent Henderson, the Labour candidate, on 351. She finished fourth. Independent Rachel Jenkins was second with 436, and Joshua Robinson, the Liberal Democrat, on 357. So congratulations to Carl Daisley. He'll be taking up his seat because it was, of course, that one was left vacant by Chris Bloor, who did an incredible amount of work for Bromsgrove, for Bromsgrove and for Worcestershire, and he went off to Canada. So we've got a new councillor there. General election coming up, Jules. 12 days before Christmas, just what we need, or 13 days before Christmas.
Well, I can't help myself. It's made politics interesting.
It has made politics
and
interesting.
I want to put the news on in the mornings.
I bet your question times viewing figures compared to like 4 years ago or something will be amazing. I do. I have to get my Brexit Daily Update. And,
I
very
do
often I'll
enjoy
only
it all.
watch that bit, and then when they go further afield from the UK, I think,
Yeah, it can go now.
over then.
I'm back to watching something on iPlayer.
It's just that decision on the evening. Do you want Peston or Koonsberg? And you just got to make a decision. That's the biggest decision each night.
No,
See, that's a decision within a decision.
that's too much
do you
politics. No, it's too much politics.
Yeah.
I can't cope with all that.
Well, I can't like them both, but I like Robert Peston more because he does my wife's heading, because she always moans about how scruffy he is. She goes, let's see if he's combed his hair tonight. She gets real uptight about it, so it's quite good. It has gone a bit quiet on the general election front. Obviously, they called it last week. We had a story there. We know obviously Sajid's standing. We know Dr. Nicol for the Liberal Democrats is standing. And Labour haven't announced their candidate yet, and we've got the Brexit Party candidate as well. So we know 3 out of 4.
Mandy Childs?
Is it Mandy Childs?
Yeah.
We haven't been told yet. I'm going to have to.
Oh, she came to the poppy stall the other day on the high street and
I will
gave
get
me her
onto
card.
that, and I will give them a call and find out.
Yeah, I've got her email address if you need it.
Cool, excellent. We'll get in touch with Mandy Childs, and good luck to everyone. Obviously, we've got more weeks of campaigning yet. And there's all this stuff about tactical voting. If you vote for this one here, and that one there, and this one here, and that one there, you get a Remain vote. There's all this kind of stuff going on, isn't there? It's just mind-blowing, isn't it?
Well, I've got the proxy for both of my sons, so I'll be voting 3 times.
That's good. There you are. But you must stress, they have made the decision.
They have. They signed all the forms. They told me who to vote for. It's going to be quite interesting standing in the box.
Used as evidence. And sport now, Bromsgrove Sporting. What a roller coaster season to be a Bromsgrove Sporting.
Up and down. Oh my goodness.
They lost 7. Was it 7? I think they won 8-0. Then they lost 7-0. Then they won 8-0 at the weekend, thanks to hat-trick from Mills, hat-trick from Gregory, goals from Shorrock hat-trick from Mills, hat-trick from Taylor, and goals from Gregory and Shorrock. So they won 8-0 on Saturday, and you thought, fantastic. And then last night in the League Cup to Colville, who were in the same division, away, they lost 2-1. They're 7th place in the league, but they are 1 point off the playoffs, and they're 4 points off second, and they've got Peterborough this weekend, and Peterborough and Bromsgrove. I think they're away to Peterborough. Peterborough and Bromsgrove are level on points and on goal difference. It couldn't be tighter. But obviously a win could fire Sporting into the playoff places. So good luck to the Rousers this weekend. Droitwich Spar FC, their FA Vars run has come to an end. They were the lowest team in the competition left. They'd never made the first round before, let alone the second, and they're in the second round, and they lost to Lye Town, who were several divisions above them. It was a valiant display, and they lost 2-1 in the dying moments of the game. So they'll be turning their attention back to the league. They're in 7th. Tipton are in 9th. That's their opponents this weekend. But they're 7 points off the top with 3 games in hand. So they're only, so I suppose they can get 9 points, can't they, from 3 games in hand? So they could technically go top, Droitwich, if they win all their games in hand. But it's better to have points on the board. I'll have to briefly talk to Jules about the rugby because she's Welsh. And so when Wales go out, do you support England or do you support everybody else but England?
You stay with your country. So
no, I know, but I mean, if Wales aren't involved, so like for the final, who were you supporting in the final?
South Africa.
Well, yeah.
Yeah.
Claire's got a shocked face. That's what the Scottish people say, don't they? The Scottish people say, we've got 2 teams, Scotland and whoever's facing England.
Yeah.
That's what they say.
All that. If you go to Cardiff on match day and it's any of the Celtic nations, it's a great atmosphere. You get England there and it all changes. And of course, I've got an English accent.
Yeah.
So you then get the Welsh looking at you like, why are you wearing red? Well, it's my country, what can I say?
And you say, my name's Jules Evans. And then that obviously...
No, the rugby was disappointing for Wales. Don't really think that they turned up enough. But then to see South Africa carry on and beat England, that was a bit of a highlight. We were saying...
But England did the opposite, didn't they? Because they turned up last weekend against New Zealand and then didn't turn up on Sunday.
Yeah.
But if you were a neutral, I suppose, the South Africa thing about the first black captain and it unifying the country and everything, I suppose.
They played a really, really good game.
We say through gritted teeth.
They played a fantastic game, and what can you do?
They were, mate. I don't normally watch rugby, but I did get up for the World Cup final. I set my alarm and everything, but they were just breathtaking, and they were just they deserve to win it, and that's all you can say.
Yeah, the whole of the World Cup this time has just lifted the country. The number of people, people going into pubs at 8 o'clock in the morning, but a lot of them were drinking coffee.
Yeah.
There was beer afterwards. But to see people in a pub at 8 o'clock in the morning shouting at the telly and pubs putting on sausage baps and things, it was great. It was a weird time of day to get up. But what a great decision to send it to Japan. And they put on a fantastic event. So.
It's like the World Cup as well a few years ago.
Yeah.
That was Japan, wasn't it? Japan and South Korea. And I remember watching England-Brazil on Bromsgrove High Street before work at 7 a.m. in the morning in the... one of the pubs in there, and I wasn't drinking, obviously, but I felt like drinking after we'd lost 2-1 to Brazil. But yeah, that was that. So no, it's good. It just seems we get. I know this won't bother you, Jules, but we get so close. We had the semi-final last year in the World Cup, and then we had the Women's World Cup, and we it was a near miss there, and then a near miss now. Bring on the Euros. Now the Euros next year in the football.
Oh, interest gone.
Not that interested.
No.
Well, the Euros, because it's I can't remember what it's for, it's one of the anniversaries or something, but the semi-finals and the final, they're rotating it around the countries for the actual tournament. So the semi-final and the final are all at Wembley. So if we can get to that level, we'll have 2 home games for the final.
Is that quite a big if?
I don't know. If we play like we did last World Cup, then in the World Cup, that could be good.
Did they lose again in that World Cup?
We lost in the semis, didn't we?
I don't know. It's football.
Yeah, we lost in the semis, which was the best performance since Italia 90. So, yeah, but it was so near so far. I just like the way the whole nation just feels good at these kind of these things, doesn't it? It just brings a feel good factor. People are easy. People put their hands in their pockets more. It boosts the economy. Beer sales, burger sales. You're vegetarian, aren't you?
Yeah.
Yeah. So that one. Well, you can get everything now, can't you? Vegetarian.
Yeah. Yes, I've just
vegan
been eating
sausage
some.
rolls, vegan burgers. Yeah, people just buy so much more stuff, and it's just really good for good feel good summer. I must end with this. I've been saving this. how good is it to see that poppy wall back on the Bromsgrove Methodists?
Oh, the poppy
Centre.
wall was stunning last year, and we thought, how absolutely
just for
brilliant.
1 year,
It
can it?
cannot
No,
just be
no.
for 1 year.
And-
And they said, "Oh, we're going to roll it up. What do you think? Do you think it would be okay to put it out next year?" And we said, "It's D-Day. It would be fantastic." And it's caused congestion down the road because of the number of people that stop
Yeah.
their cars and take
It
photographs.
was just, I remember being at the unveiling. Remember it snowed, didn't it?
It did. We had 4 seasons in about half an hour.
That was. It was random though. It was just about like a
rain,
half
sleet.
an hour snow.
Yeah.
And then it just stopped. But it was an amazing unveiling. To just see that wall of red is
Yeah.
just incredible. And they've done a lovely job with taking the 100 down and putting the D-Day 75 on there.
Yeah, they are just stunning. All the poppies are all handmade by people, members of the congregation and from further afield. Just brilliant.
And the purple poppies for the animals.
Purples for the animals.
For the animals who lost their lives in conflict as well.
Yeah, absolutely fantastic.
And the
We're
white
really,
poppies
really
for
pleased.
peace.
Yes, they've hit an awful lot of markers with that, and
got
we're really,
everything.
really proud to have been there last Saturday.
So if you're going down on Sunday and you haven't seen it yet, it's an ideal time because you'll be up by Argos at the top end of the high street. Just get there a bit earlier, go and have a look, have your photo taken with the poppy wall, or just take the photo and post it on social
And it's
media.
not going to rain.
No,
But
it isn't. I did worry about that wall when it was rain. 'Cause
Yes.
you think like if your jumper gets wet, it's kind of like and that's just a massive wall. And I just thought it might be like stretched.
Yeah,
in
I
the
was
rain.
there last year helping to put it up, and I did see the amount of effort that they went to with it. And there's a very good fireman on a very tall ladder that puts it up and takes it down again, one of the congregation. So,
It reminds me of one of my questions in life. How many cherry pickers are actually used for cherry picking these days?
yeah, I don't know if there's even that many cherries left for picking, is there? I did have a beer the other day that was cherry flavoured and really not very good.
Don't stay away from that. Stick to the grapefruit. Okay, so we got the parade on Sunday. Just to recap, 10:15 if you're mustering by Argos. Then you got the parade moves off at 11. You'll go poppy stalls in the town centre on Saturday.
Friday and Saturday.
Friday and Saturday this week.
Yeah.
What have we got leading the parade? Have we got military vehicles or anything this year? Or
Well, it's a surprise. You have
Oh,
to come
God, it's a
down and see
surprise.
it.
I'm sorry, I
Or
forgot
watch
that.
your live afterwards.
watch the
at the
Facebook
time.
Live. But do try and get there because it's an amazing atmosphere, and it is just 1 day or 2 days in the year, if you count Monday, where we remember so many people who gave so much.
Yes, and it's important, and it may be 75 years since D-Day. That it may be that we've lost an awful lot of veterans, but there have been many wars since then. There is still conflict, and we still have serving soldiers all over the country that need support, and that's what the Legion carry on doing.
Exactly. And I was going to talk to you about your 940s party, but I know we're going to be short on time, and it's a good excuse to get you in maybe early in the new year
Brilliant.
for another podcast.
Thank you.
Because obviously things will be moving on then, and we'll be partying like it's 1944 again. Right, that brings us to the end of the news section. Thank you ever so much for joining us, Jules.
Thank you for the invitation. It's always a pleasure.
Claire's up now with the entertainment.
For all the things to do and see this week, it's Claire Bullivant with this week's What's On Guide.
Thanks, Tristan. Loads going on this weekend. In fact, so much we can't fit it all in on this podcast. So do check out the full listings in our paper and also on our website. But a few of our favourite things to do starting on Saturday, the 9th of November. Yeoman of the Guards is on at the Norbury Theatre in Droitwich. This is a feast both visually and orally not to be missed, they tell us. 7:30pm start there. And this production is from the Worcester Gilbert and Sullivan Society, and everything about Yeoman, from the grandness of the music to the elaborateness of the plot, is bigger and bolder than any other Gilbert and Sullivan operetta. The musical, set in the Tower of London, of course, in the 16th century, tells the story of the war hero Colonel Fairfax. He was unjustly framed, imprisoned and condemned to death for sorcery, and plans by Sergeant Merrill and his daughter Phoebe are afoot to free Fairfax, disguising him as one of the Tower's guardians, the famous Yeoman of the Guard. It's a heart-rending story brought to life with the fabulous costumes the society there is known for. Tickets range from £7 to £14 and are available by calling the box office, which is 01905 770 154, or you can just go to their website, norburytheatre.co.uk. Also on Saturday, Bonfire Night isn't over yet. Anyone else been to about 5 this year? Well, here's another one for you. It's the annual fantastic Barnt Green Bonfire and Firework Night 2019 happening at the Barnt Green Inn. It's 5 p.m. until 8 p.m. and it's fabulous every year. It seems to get bigger and better every year too. Do try and get yourself along. It's great fun. Is anyone there? Is anyone there? I sometimes feel like that listening to this show. Maybe Nuala Ryan Long can tell me, because this fabulous psychic is back in Bromsgrove with her clairvoyance evening. I've been reading and hearing amazing things about Nuala. Hope you get to go along. It's at the Artrix, 7 p.m. Loads of music also going on all over the place on Saturday evening. We've got Aardvark Stew, live music at the Old Cock Inn in Droitwich, one of my favourite Droitwich pubs. 54 live music. They're going to be at the Westcroft in Droitwich. Fleetwood back. Needs no explanation, does it? Fleetwood Mac tribute band. They're incredible. They're going to be on at the Artrix on Saturday night. We've got Dr. Busker. He's going to be at the Stoke Prior Sports and Country Club in Bromsgrove on Saturday. And Crazy Legs live music at the Roosler's Bar in Bromsgrove on Saturday too. Too many to mention. Do check out the listings in the Standard and also our website for the full details. And it's Remembrance Day this Sunday, of course, the 10th of November. Loads going on in all our local churches and villages all over. Obviously, we can't mention everything, but I will give details of the main events in Bromsgrove and Droitwich. You heard about it earlier on the show. The Bromsgrove Remembrance Day Parade and service starts at the War Memorial. That's the War Memorial on Crown Close. So get there for about 10:15 if you want to catch all the action. Then over in Droitwich, the Droitwich Parade will march to the War Memorial in Victoria Square for 10:45, where there'll be a service and the wreath laying. Then the full traditional service to mark Remembrance Sunday will be held at St Andrew's Church around 11:20 on Sunday. Also on Sunday, there is a Christmas craft fair happening at Bromsgrove Sporting's Victoria Ground. Great if you're stuck for present ideas for Christmas, because there's going to be over 20 stalls selling handmade and unique items. Really great for Christmas presents if you're super organised, which obviously isn't me, but I want to this year. This year I'm going to try and get organised and not leave everything to the last minute. But it's all happening there on Sunday, 11 a.m. until 4 p.m. Then in the evening, again, you heard all about it earlier on the show, the Bromsgrove Royal British Legion's D-Day celebration happening at the Artrix. They say it's an Albert Hall tribute with local artists, Vintage Class, Kevin Ward, Catherine Tabberner, Fairfield, music from Glen, and also Mr. Churchill will make a special appearance for the drumhead ceremony to bring back memories of 1944. 7:30 p.m. start then, and booking number from the Artrix is 01527 577 330. Then on Monday, the 11th of November, it's Armistice Day. Obviously, there will be an Armistice Day services happening all over. Do check your local church for details. Then next week, on Tuesday, the 12th of November, it's the Shakespeare Schools Festival happening at the Artrix. This is the world's largest youth drama festival. So for all the details, and if you want to be involved, go to shakespeareschools.org/the festival. Have a lovely weekend, everyone. And remember, if you have an event going on, tell us so we can let everyone know in the paper, on our website, on all our social media channels. We're on them all: Twitter, Facebook, Instagram, and also on this very podcast. Back to you in the studio, Tristan.
Thanks, Claire. Loads going on in Bromsgrove, Droitwich and Rubery. Thank you very so much for listening to this week's podcast. Thank you to Jules Evans for joining us. Please make sure you try and get there on a Sunday for the Remembrance Parade. And then don't forget, there's the concert, the pop concert on the evening. Still tickets left for that. Last year's, if it's even half as good as last year's, it's going to be an amazing thing, unmissable, and just make sure you get there. I'll be back next week at the similar time. Also, if you want daily updates, don't forget to follow us on Facebook, Twitter and Instagram for Bromsgrove Standard and Droitwich Standard. You can email us, editor@bromsgrovestandard.co.uk, droitwichstandard.co.uk. We've got the websites as well for daily updates. I think we're up to about 6 or 7 updates a day these days. It's manic. It's like having a 24-hour rolling news channel for Bromsgrove and Droitwich. Remember, if you want to get in touch about anything you've heard today, anything that's in the paper or anything in Bromsgrove, Droitwich, Rubery, Catshill, anywhere that that you want to talk about, or you want to come on the podcast as well, please do get in touch. All that's left to say is have a great week, and remember to remember.